Yeah, it's well, we depend on this. We depend on the Senate President's ability to conduct these hearings in a manner that is befitting for all the participants who are here today, with due recognition that this is a constitutional process. But like I said, if he were my brother, I would really feel bad for him.
Dennis Amito po from Bombo Radio. Sir, kanina nag-sorry na po yung defense sa pamamagitan po ni Attorney Jude Roy. Sa palagay niyo po ba sapat yung kanilang pag-sorry doon po sa naging actuation nila during the press conference nung Sunday po?
Well, sa tingin ko naman, nagsalita rin naman ng impeachment tribunal po dyan. At merong motion si Senator Trillanes para humingi ng paliwanag mula sa Defense Counsel. Iwanan na lang po natin sa impeachment tribunal kung ano yung magiging parusa, kung meron man, ang ipapataw ng impeachment tribunal tungkol dito sa ginawa nilang press conference, na para sa amin, syempre, nagulat lahat po kami dahil that was a serious and malicious charge which affects the integrity of the impeachment tribunal.
Dagdag lon sa sinabi ni Deputy Speaker. Unang-una, hindi naman sa amin nag-sorry, Dennis. Sa Senador nag-sorry, so nasa sa kanila na yun kung tatanggapin nila. Pangalawa naman, palagay ko hindi ito ang huli kasi hindi naman ito ang unang beses na nag-sorry po ang punong mahistrado. Kung 2 weeks ago, kung naalala po natin, sabi nila, excusable naman po. Bago ilabas po yung bank account, sabi nila, pwede na lang ilusot yan sa I'm sorry. Nakalimutan ko po sa SALN ko yung mga 10 million pala yung binili ko, hindi 2 million. 14 million pala, hindi pala 6 million. So palagay ko hindi huling I'm sorry yan eh. Baka later on, pag sinabi natin, sinabi nyo ilalabas niyo yung dollar accounts, baka na naman ang sagot nila I'm sorry. So palagay ko, hintayin na lang ho natin yun. Palagay ko, hindi yun ang huling I'm sorry na maririnig po natin.
Ako siguro parang... alam po ninyo, araw-araw po tayo lahat na naandito, no? Kahit Biyernes, kahit di tayo nagkita-kita, nagtatrabaho po tayo. We all make our own respective sacrifice to be here to pursue this process, and in the hope that we're doing something that is constitutionally mandated. And we expect everybody to follow that. And, last night I even heard from their interviews, kaya daw pala, 3:00 pa lang ho, inaanunsyo na po nila na magkakaroon sila ng press conference. Sinabi po nila for the first time kanina, in their attempt not to disclose. Kahapon, sabi po nila, i-disclose po namin yung aming source at the right time. Pero bigla po today, nakahanap po sila ng panibagong istorya, is to cover it within the veil of attorney-client. Lumabas po yung istorya kanina, na lumabas yung information na yon in the course of their discussion Saturday evening with the Chief Justice. Talagang sinigurado nila na kasama si Chief Justice para po ma-raise nila yung attorney-client privilege, if only to be able to quell or to stop or have an excuse for them not to reveal their source. But that's not the real issue here. The real issue is they knew it's Saturday. They could have said it as soon as they found out. If they wanted to think about it, they had the following day to do it until lunchtime. But in an interview with one of the defense counsel today, when he stated that we did it at 7 p.m. so as not to give anybody else an opportunity to answer the press conference, that's absolutely fiddling with the minds of the public. And in my mind, it's if the Senate was so kind and egregious today to let them off the hook for such claims, I don't know if the public will be so kind. When in fact the reason for which that press conference was done yesterday was precisely to stop the disclosure of the foreign currency deposits of the Chief Justice, of US dollars whose existence are not in question today. The bigger question is later on, if we get an acquittal, which we've always said from day one, we will accept. If they get an acquittal and the Chief Justice is put back and continue serving as a Chief Justice until 2018, will people still accept him and respect the decisions that he will render, knowing fully well that he had dollar accounts which were never disclosed, and that they were able to prevent its disclosure by an underhanded tactic, which they did last night. I mean, I think those are the questions which I don't know if the public will be as forgiving as we are and as the senators are.
Sir, may mga nagsasabi po na political analyst na yung voting daw po kanina ay posibleng ganun din po yung maging pattern po ng voting para po sa pag-convict kay Chief Justice Corona. Ano po naman ang masasabi po ng prosecution?
Yung mga mahihirap, tinapato sa akin ito. hindi, biro lang. Biro lang. I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm kidding. Kung sino man po yung political analyst na yun, baka kakampi ho yun ng defense, ano ha? Butin lang po, we're not bound by political analysts, but I respect that position. But obviously, it's not. In our minds, it's not even a victory that can be indicative of how the Senate will rule in terms of the case, or whether to convict or to acquit. Dahil dito, pure constitutional issue, no, yung kanilang pinag-usapan. Ang sabi nila is, sa totoo lang, pag itinuloy natin ito, posible tayong magkabanggaan, tumagal palalo, imbis na madesisyon na natin kaagad ang kaso, ay may embroil pa tayo sa matagal at napaka masalimuot na sitwasyon na nagbabanggaan tayo at saka yung judiciary at saka yung Senado. So gusto natin iwasan yon. Let's move on. In fact, if you will recall, one senator said that marami namang ibang ebidensya na na tingin namin pwede nang makapagdesisyon. Although hindi niya sinabi na decided na siya on that basis, but there are other means or other evidence available that have been presented which is sufficient for them to come to a decision without having to open these other accounts, because opening these accounts, these dollar accounts, will lead us into a direct conflict with the Supreme Court. Of course, we in the prosecution vehemently disagree with that position. But if that is the position taken by the majority, we will accept it. But certainly, that is not an indication of how the voting will be when it comes to evaluating the evidence.
Dagdag lang, no? Purely questions of law lang po ang tinakil po ng impeachment tribunal sa kanilang caucus kanina. They did not even look at the evidence presented. So, ibang usapin pag titimbangin na yung mga ebidensya na hinarap, no? So magkaiba po 'yan. At dito nga pumapasok at by the vote itself, you would see that talagang nahirapan rin ng mga senator judges. Bakit? Ang dalawang pinagtitimbang dito, accountability, straight accountability, at yung isa pagsunod sa Supreme Court dahil may batas na nagmamandato na hindi talaga pwedeng buksan ang foreign currency deposits.
Sir, pahalaw pa ako dun. So meaning, pwede niyo pa makuha yung 6 votes, 10 plus 6 equals 16 to convict, tingin niyo?
Sa tingin po namin na makukuha po namin kung ang magiging basehan ngayon yung ebidensya na hinarap po ng prosecution sa kaso.
Sino kaya doon sa bumoto sa TRO na pwede niya pa makuha? Yung 6 na votes.
Sa tingin po namin, pwede po makuha si Senate President Enrile, si Pimentel, lahat po. Tingin namin ay posible po dahil sa bigat po ng ebidensya. Naniniwala po kami na kaya po. Dahil ito po yung usapin ng question of law. You know, the senators don't operate in a vacuum. Hindi po sila na ito lang po, desisyonan po natin yan, hinihingi ng taong bayan ng marami na kailangan po buksan yan para makita. Kailangan din nila makita yung kabuuan. Maaari po tayo magkaroon ng desisyon dito, pero kung may mas malaking kaguluhan sa tingin nila, ay maaaring itong isa sa mga bagay na pumipigil sa kanila. So, really, it was a policy and matter of law decision on the part of the Senate.
Gandang hapon po. Felix Tambong ko po sa DCRJ. Sir, pinanggit nyo kanina na sapat na yung ebidensya. So bakit iginigit pa natin yung sa dollar accounts? Ba't hindi lumipad sa ibang article of impeachment? Sige, nagko-contradict po yung sinasabi natin. Thank you po.
Ikaw ba ay mo malaman? Diba? Parang, paano po? No, we have more than sufficient or more than enough. But in our mind, to get a complete judgment that is going to be acceptable, whether it is a conviction or an acquittal, we need to see all the available evidence na nandyan na po. hindi po natin magdidesisyon, hindi po natin inaasahan ng korte magdesisyon dahil sa kalahati lang po ng dokumento ang tiningnan. Hindi po natin titingnan dahil kalahati lang po ng barel ay naipakita. Kailangan po natin ipakita lahat dahil sa aming pong pagtingin, wala pong pinagkaiba yung ebidensyang piso o local currency o ebidensyang dolyar. There is no difference as far as this is concerned. If the law created a distinction, the policy that supported that distinction is not available or does not apply specifically in this case. So, importante po para sa atin, kailangan maging buo po. Paano po pag magkaroon ng acquittal? Pag magkaroon ng acquittal and then people know na meron palang hindi nabuksan, hindi rin katahimikan ang dadalhin ng judgment na yon. Ayaw po natin mangyari yon. So if we want to respect, we want our democracy to be more mature, we have to ensure that all available evidence, especially those that are already there in front of us, should be considered and should be opened. Yun po ang aming posisyon.
Ganap ang dengue, mag-abakada, Aksyon Barangay kontra dengue. Hanapin at linisin sa tahanan at bakuran ang maaaring pamugaran ng lamok, butasan ang mga lumang gulong o lagyan ng lupa. Takpan ang mga drum at timba, palitan ang tubig ng klorera 2 beses sa 1 linggo, alisin ang tubig sa paminggalan, linisin ang mga lulod, itapon ang mga bagay na maaaring pangitlugan ng lamok, magpatingin sa health center kung may lagnat na ng 2 araw. Gawing dengue-free ang inyong barangay. Mag-Aksyon Barangay kontra dengue. Isang paalala mula sa inyong DOH.
At napanood nyo nga po ang katatapos lamang na press briefing ng prosecution na Gio. Tinalakay nila itong naging desisyon nga ng mga senator judges na irespeto itong TRO na ibinaba ng Korte Suprema.
So makita naman natin na kahit iba yung pananaw ay meron pa ring pagtingin doon sa pagrespeto sa proseso at paggalang doon sa nangyari sa loob ng impeachment court. At siguro at this point kausapin natin si Attorney Mark upang i-explika kung anong implikasyon na nabubuo nito sa Senate Impeachment Court at syempre sa Supreme Court. Attorney Mark?
Linawin lang po natin, yung binasa po ng ating Senate President ay ganito po yung naging posisyon ng Senate sitting as an impeachment court. Una-una, nirerespeto nila yung TRO bilang temporary relief. Ibig sabihin, pinipigilan sila pansamantala na hindi buksan yun. Pero yung pinakamalaking usapin or the main issue, kung meron bang karapatan ang impeachment court na buksan yung mga dollar deposit accounts is the legal issue na hindi pa nadidesisyonan ng Supreme Court. So ang sinasabi ng Senate is sitting as an impeachment court, gagalang namin yung temporary restraining order pero ilalaban namin yung karapatan ng Senate as an impeachment court dun sa usapin sa Supreme Court. And we will argue, ang sabi nila, na merong karapatan. And ito ay exception doon sa secrecy ng dollar deposits.
Ayun, so malinaw yon. Hindi ibig sabihin na katapusan na ito nitong issue tungkol sa pagbubukas nitong dollar accounts, Attorney Mark.
Yes. Hindi pa tapos yon. Ito kaya nga tawag sa kanya ay temporary restraining order. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang mapapatupad yung pagsubpina, yung pag-require, pero yung mismong karapatan. Dahil, di ba, sinasabi pa nila na i-amend na lang yung batas. Ang sinasabi naman ng prosecution, but even the Supreme Court itself already made an exception. Even if the law says it is absolute, nagbigay na sila ng exception dun sa rape case. Ibig sabihin, kung may exception silang binigay, pwede palang magkaroon ng exception. Ang sinasabi ng impeachment ng mga prosecution, dapat ito ay